Welcome back, everyone. We have another ex-vegan story here. This is Judita, and I'm going to let her take over.
Hi guys, my name is Judita, and I was vegan for 3 years of my life. But let me start by saying that I was vegetarian since I was 14. So I haven't been eating meat since a very, very long time, half of my life now. And I must say that as a vegetarian, I didn't have any health problems. My diet was always full of butter and eggs and cream and cheese. And now I believe that that was kind of saving me. But when I went to explore the vegan community, vegan diets, I was very interested in it because I wanted to improve my health. I wanted to try something new, and obviously for ethical reasons, I didn't want to hurt or harm any animals as a vegetarian. So I was preparing myself for a very long time to take this next step. And it took me many months to prepare. I found, first I found Freely, the banana girl, and I was watching her channel for few months before I even started considering it. Then I found Happy Healthy Vegan channel, which was also a huge inspiration. I went on nutritionfacts.org to kind of prepare myself and learn everything I needed to know how to balance the whole plant-based diet. So it took me a while, and I was trying vegan diet before the internet as a vegetarian, and I was always failing because I'm from Poland. Back in the day, many years ago, before YouTube, we didn't have any knowledge about like vegan diet. So back in the day, it was all eating pasta, bread, potatoes, and salads. So when I was trying to do that, I was failing. So then when internet came and all these gurus and doctors, I was like, wow, we are ready. We have the knowledge now. So I started from raw till 4 because I was inspired by Freely, of course. She was very powerful in 2015. I think that was peak of her career. And I lasted around 3 months on raw till 4. I don't understand how people can do it, eating almost only sugar all the time. I instantly felt like it's not for me. I was never satisfied with food. I was always hungry. I had sugar spikes all the time, and it was just not for me. So after 3 months, I gave it up. And then I said, okay, I'm just gonna go on a whole food plant-based diet. And I use as inspiration Happy Healthy Vegan channel because in my head, these were the people that are doing veganism right. They are having very balanced diet with a lot of different products, and they eat fruits and vegetables and raw and cooked and everything. So that suited my needs as well. So I started doing that. And I must say, I felt amazing for the first year. It was great. And I didn't really have any problems. But then in the second year of doing exactly the same thing, I started having these like reactions to food. It kind of looked like intolerances or allergies. I started having rashes all over my face, all over my neck, even on my body. It looked like an allergic reaction. So I was very confused. I didn't know what was happening. And on top of that, I started having these digestive problems. So more often I started to feel bloated, and I had to overeat a lot because eating a whole food plant-based diet, you kind of have to overeat not to lose weight. Because when I was not overeating, I was just losing so much weight so fast. I have a fast metabolism, and so I think combination of overeating and eating so much fiber with a lot of plants, that kind of put a strain on my digestive system, and that started failing. So obviously I had like was bloated, had to go to the toilet many times, and it started to become a problem. The same with the rashes. I remember I was doing these smoothies every morning, and I think the worst combination for me was eating kale. Everyone was saying kale is so amazing, but whenever I tried to eat kale, I couldn't go to the toilet for 3 days. It was horrible. Even when I cooked it, it made me constipated. So that was the first sign where I was like, something is wrong here. It's not like everyone is saying, like my body is not dealing with this very well. So then I started kind of thinking about what I'm doing. And I had to discover what was happening to me. So I decided to do these like tests, like for allergies and intolerances. And I discovered that I developed a severe allergy to wheat and all wheat products, but not gluten, but wheat. So I could eat like oats and that was fine. But if I had any sort of wheat product, that would cause a reaction. Also, I got a very heavy allergy for all citrus fruit. So I couldn't eat any lemons, limes anymore. Oranges made me break out on my neck. The next day I was eating it. So I started to eliminating these foods. And it was hard. And on top of that, I always had allergy for cats. So then when I went to doctor and started to like seeing that I have more and more allergies, he was telling me like, that in our body, some allergies are even getting worse when we have other ones and they kind of combine and they're more powerful when they're combined. So then I got scared because I was like, what's happening with my body? I was never like this. So that was the first thing. And that was happening for a whole 2017 and whole 2018. And I remember in 2018, I went to to do all the tests, everything, because everything was just going down, going south. And in those tests, I did like a genetic blood test for food intolerances. And it came out that I don't tolerate like 80% of plants. Like I don't tolerate almost anything anymore. So I was like, I can't eat grains. I can't eat legumes. I can't eat almost any vegetables. I don't want to eat only fruits because it's just sugar. And I started thinking like, what should I do now? Because this is just ridiculous. Like, and then when I was eliminating these foods, obviously I kept losing weight. I started to have deficiencies. And at the very end stage of veganism, I actually developed hormonal acne on the sides of my face, which I had for like 6 months, and it wouldn't disappear. It was just worse and worse. My mother was asking me like, what's happening to your face? So it was just, and till the very end, I was not blaming the diet. Like I was defending it because in those 3 years of being vegan, I was also an activist. Not one of these activists who are on the streets, but I was like a Facebook activist. So my Facebook was very was public, and I was posting a lot of pro-vegan messages. I was teaching people how to eat, like advising them on how to become vegan and all that. So I really believed in it. And then when I started having these problems, in the whole 2018, I kind of had to hide myself from social media because I was like, I'm promoting this, but I don't look good and I don't feel good and something is wrong. So I was trying to figure it out. But at the end, I found out that there's no way out. You can't, for me, I couldn't balance the diet. It didn't work at all. I also noticed from the test that my cholesterol went down drastically from around 200 to 100. So that was bad. Because later then I found out that the cholesterol is very important for like everything that's happening in the body. And then on top of it, I started developing this vegan look, like sunken eyes, and my whole face was very like hollow and dry. My skin was dry. I remember after having a shower, when I was drying my skin, it would flake all the time. It was just flake with this white skin thing. Now it doesn't. So I mean, there's been a lot of different problems. So basically, when I then decided at the end of 2018 in December that I need to try something else, I started watching, in the meantime, I started watching these carnivore channels. And I never wanted to become a carnivore, and I'm not a carnivore, but I was watching it because obviously there was this huge kind of like a war between vegan channels and carnivore channels, and that got my attention. Now, I consider myself an intelligent person, so and open-minded. So I was open-minded enough to listen to the other side and to go there and be like, okay, maybe these guys are not all that stupid. Maybe they have a point. So I started to watching Tristan, and I started to watching Bobby's perspective, and Vegetable Police, and then Megan, I started watching you when you joined. And that was like, this all adds up now. Like I can see kind of myself in this, going through these things, these health problems. And then one day I was like, I just need to try it. I just need to try it and see if it's really my diet. So in January, I started eating a lot of butter and eggs and fish. And around 3 weeks, and all my problems were pretty much cleared. So my skin cleared in 3 weeks, my rashes went, my skin color came back, my face became more fuller, and basically all my digestive symptoms stops within like a week, like within a few days. So that was a signal for me that my body was needing those animal products, those animal fats. So then I got really interested in like high fat diets, because I decided, obviously I don't want to keep on running on sugar, so let's just try this high fat thing. And now is today is 6 months since I am on a high fat diet, and I feel great. All my problems went away, and now I'm having my YouTube channel because in the meantime we kind of discovered that in Poland, where I'm from, we have a lot of problems with vegan diets as well. People are getting sick. Young women are getting sick. They're losing their periods. There's a lot of raw fruitarian guru channels who are promoting it. So we are trying to be a voice of reason and just to spread the message to everyone, to just not to go to these extreme diets, because they will most likely they will deteriorate us. And that's pretty much the short version. I don't know if you have any questions, if you want to dive into something in deep, other subjects. What do you think?
Yeah, I wanted to know if you took any supplements like B12, protein powder.
Yes, so I used to love protein powders as a vegan, and I was having them regularly, different brands, and they were also like fortified with vitamins, the ones I was picking up. So yes, I had supplements, so B12, D, K2, omega-3, omega-3s. I also obviously was grounding flax seeds every day and having a lot of flax seeds in my smoothies to have those fats in my diet. However, I noticed that these fats were completely different than animal fats, and they don't really make any difference from my experience.
Yeah, I was doing flax seeds and chia seeds and hemp seeds every day, and I had the same flaking skin. It was almost like a snake. Like every time I got out of the shower, it would just like peel in layers.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting that there's kind of a vegan community in almost every country now. It's also pretty scary because it's spreading so much, and we're going to keep seeing like this trend of it growing and then everyone failing, and then it growing again and everyone failing, because it's happened before. It was popular, back in the day in the 80s, the hippie movement, and now it's popular again.
Yes, I mean here, Warsaw. I'm from Warsaw, Poland, so the veganism is growing really rapidly here. We have these festivals with a lot of food. We have many vegan or vegetarian restaurants, which is, great. I still like vegan food. It's not like I'm demonizing it, but I just think that it can't be a lifestyle. It can't be that we only eat plants, because then we will run into these problems. And what I am against is that this diet is being promoted as such. It's being promoted as a diet that is great for all stages of life, for everybody, any situation, for all the diseases, and you can have this diet for life. That's just not true. We can see it all around. So this is why I'm like speaking about it.
Yeah, that's all I want, is that vegan doctors and people who preach the lifestyle to admit and understand that not everyone can do it. They're problems do arise long term, and it's dangerous to tell everyone that everyone can do it. This all or nothing approach is extremely dangerous.
Exactly, especially, here in Poland, we have these, like I said, these raw channels like fruitarian, like these people who basically detox all the time, and they are trying to detox their body, and they're on juice cleanses all the time and eating only fruit or only vegetables or only raw. And what's happening on these channels was disturbing, so we kind of tried to stop it and wake people up that, guys, don't go crazy about this, there are dangers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went on Facebook, and we discovered that there's a lot of Facebook groups, closed groups, where people like that give medical advice to people, and they give them very dangerous advice. We have a lot of screenshots of these practices. Like, for example, young girls would go to these detox like fruitarian diets. They would lose their periods, and someone would tell them, "It's good, you're detoxing. You don't need your period." Or they will tell someone is saying, "My kidney is hurting," and they would say, "Good, that means your kidney is detoxing, that's why it's hurting." Like, it's no joke, it's that serious. So it's just crazy.
Is the government there doing anything about it?
Well, nobody really knows about it because all these groups are closed, like private.
Right.
You have to get into that community to be there. So
Mm-hmm.
because now there's my channel, and there's also 2 other Polish channels that are kind of talking about it publicly, we got a lot of attention from community, from people, and we got a lot of support. And also with that, we started to get a lot of mails and emails and like messages from people who actually were victims of that practice,
Mm-hmm.
who was listening, who got inspired and got sick, very sick. So yeah.
Well, that's great that you're also trying to help people out. That's my whole intent with these videos, is to just get the message out there that it's not all, apples and oranges like the vegans want to say. There's serious dangers long term. So thank you so much for coming on the channel. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Not really. I mean, just guys, I would just say that at the end of the day, we need to remember how a healthy person looks like, because I feel that everyone's forgetting what health looks like.
Mm-hmm.
We need to listen to our bodies, not other people. And I would say just eat intuitively. Just find the things that serve you, and if something clearly doesn't serve you, just don't eat it. I mean, I know there's a lot of different controversy around different styles of eating, different diets, vegans, carnivores, keto, this and that. Me personally, I discovered that for me, high-fat diet is great. I'm on it 6 months now, and all my problems went away. I'm curious if it's going to serve me long term. I'm going to do more tests to see how my body is inside. But I also can't say that this is like 100% good for everyone, right? So because we don't know that. It turns out that everyone is kind of reacting differently to different things, and everybody has different individual story, different age, different country, it's from different family, and have a bit different genetics. So it's all individuality, I think, is the key.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's different needs, different people, different stages of life, and it's very detrimental to tell everyone that they can survive long-term or thrive long-term on a vegan diet. And that's why I did so much damage to myself, because I kept making excuses for the symptoms that I had and the problems that I had, because these vegan doctors say that everyone can do it and it's the healthiest diet out there. So because of that narrative, that alone causes so much damage, because you trust in doctors. And then you grow to realize through your own trials and tribulations that that's not the case, that they have their own agenda. A lot of the vegan doctors here, I don't know if you guys have vegan doctors over there that are pushing it. Well, a lot of the ones in North America, they have their own agenda. Like Dr. Greger, he never seen a patient in his life. He was an animal rights activist, and then he got a doctorate, and then he started pushing this, information out there. But it's clear that he has a specific agenda for the animals, not for people's health.
Right. So can you tell me, because you are a nutritionist, right? You actually are you are certified to advise people on their health and their diets. How do you see this trend now that everyone who read 5 articles see themselves as experts and they advise to people how to eat?
In the holistic community, in the functional nutrition and medicine community, there we get a lot of clients that have been vegan or some are vegetarian for long term, and they have a lot of health issues, a lot of hormonal imbalances, a lot of deficiencies, hair loss, anemia, thyroid issues, infertility. It's very common to see this. So it's frustrating when, you know, people are out there preaching that you can survive on all fruit, being the most dangerous. But even a balanced whole food vegan diet that I followed, I never tried the fruitarian thing. I tried the raw till 4 for, I think it was a month, and I could not do it because my blood sugar was up and down everywhere. But for the majority of it, I was vegan for 4 years. I ate a balanced, you know, beans and grains and vegetables, fat, stuff like that, and I still deteriorated. So even a balanced vegan diet is clearly still dangerous for a lot of people.
Yes, and also we can also like talk a little bit about the mental side of it, because for me, I must say that I was kind of indoctrinated as a very young woman. I was a 14-year-old girl when I got my first vegan books, and actually the first books I got were the books that were describing what's happening in the slaughterhouses, and that planted a lot of fear in me. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically changed me emotionally, and I must say, since then, even until now, I still don't eat meat. Like, I don't eat beef, I don't eat chicken, I don't eat any other meat. I just eat fish because it's still difficult for me
Yeah.
to 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 come to this realization emotionally that it's okay, it's natural, we can eat meat. And I was even diving into like BBC documentaries looking at nature, because like Bobby was saying in his videos, nature is brutal, and in
Yeah.
nature animals, they die in such a horrible ways most often, and most animals don't even survive first weeks or months of their life. So really the agriculture, I'm talking about responsible farming where animals are treated right. We kind of created this kind of Disney world. Like, it,
Mm-hmm.
we animals, when we take care of them, have a very, very good life. And yes, later then they die, but all animals die eventually at certain points. So we started stigmatizing death, even though death is something natural and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a big problem.
Yeah, I agree. That was one of the biggest hurdles for me to get over, was the mental part of it. So physically, like, I knew that my body couldn't do it anymore, but mentally it was so hard. I had to start with eggs and then fish, and I was doing eggs and fish for a few months before I tried meat, because it was so hard for me, especially red meat, because you're physically seeing the blood. Um, and I think growing up, you watch all these cartoon character movies of animals, and they make you sympathize with them and feel bad. And then you're shown, you live in a city and you're shown the most horrible images of slaughterhouse footage, and putting all these things together, it's traumatizing.
Yeah.
But we're not taught animal husbandry and proper farming and treating animals with respect. A lot of those customs are gone. A lot of indigenous people, they pray and they have a ceremony when they kill an animal, because they are 100% respectful to that life that was given for them to continue living. And we've lost that. Vegans seem to think that you can't respect something and kill it at the same time. And I think a lot of indigenous people would disagree. And so ending veganism for me, I was almost surrendering to my animal instincts and realizing that I'm an animal as well and I have specific needs. And in order to move forward from veganism to post-veganism, I need to participate and put my money towards someone who's doing it properly, because I can't go back, you know?
Yeah. And see, so now, for example, I'm in Houston, Texas. I came here for a holiday for 3 months, and this is the best place to probably to try a steak for the first time in my life, because I've never had steak in my life ever. I don't even know how it tastes. I've never had beef. So I'm preparing myself to try it. I'll probably record it or something. That's going to be interesting, my reaction to it, right? But I started to making it for other people that I'm spending time with here, and apparently I make really good steaks. So yeah, I will be getting into it.
Yeah, I love putting like a cream sauce on top of the steak. That's what
Yeah.
helps me eat it, because I'm not a fan of red meat. The taste isn't like amazing to me, but it makes me feel amazing. And it's still kind of the mental hurdles that I have with it, it being red meat and seeing the blood and all of that. But I just kind of try and like take that vegan programming out of my head every time I eat red meat. It's getting better and better, but it's a process for sure. And the first time I tried steak, I was grossed out, and it took my taste buds and my body to like recognize the food again and for the cravings to start coming back. So it's definitely a process.
Yeah, so I think I would, like how I'm doing it right now. I'm covering it with butter, like a lot of butter on it, because I love taste of butter. And this is how I make it, like on a very low heat, so it's not gonna burn. It's just gonna be nice and juicy. So I think this is how I'm gonna do it. And again, like I'm not trying to like get into this, like for example, carnivore lifestyle. Like you, I just want to be able to eat meat without the emotion about it, like a negative connotation. I just want to be free from ideology. I just want to live. So recently, for example, I ate shrimp for the first time in my life, because in my head, shrimp is like bugs. So yeah, and I went.
You've seen that vegan meme going around that shrimp are like the cockroaches of the sea or something like that?
Yeah, this is how I felt. Even before I was vegan, I felt like that. Even as a vegetarian, I never find shrimp appealing to me. But I went to the sushi bar recently, like a month ago, and I've ordered this big soup, like a curry with shrimp in it. And I was eating it, and it was traumatizing. I hated it. I felt this like biting into it. It was like I don't know how to explain it. Very like chewy, and it was not nice. But I did it. I did it. So the next time will be easier. So that's the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I don't know. Maybe if no, no, I think that's okay. If I was just gonna say, maybe if someone has questions, but it's not a live chat, so maybe if there be questions, then maybe we can do live another time if you would like that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to link your channel in the description for everyone if they want to go check it out. And of course, like if you have anything else to say, I'll pin it at the top of the video, and you can answer any questions anyone has in the comments when I post it. I should be posting it today.
Okay, just a disclaimer, my channel is not in English. It's
Okay.
fully in English. I have only 2 videos in English there, for the reason that I kind of found out that my Polish community needs my voice more, so I decided to record in my own language. Anyone's welcome, obviously, so yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and see you soon.
Have a
Bye.
good night.